Florida condo HOA fees are up 43% since 2022. Closings are down 53% since 2021, and active listings are up 187% since 2022. Are we in a condo crisis? I think so. So if you're buying, selling, or investing in a condo here in Florida, give me these next 10 to 15 minutes and I'll save you thousands of dollars and potentially a ton of headaches. And in reality, many people don't know what's going on with the condo crisis here in the state of Florida. So when people are looking to buy a condo in St. Augustine or even sell one, I present them this information just so that they're fully aware. And especially on the buyer side, when they look at this, it makes them take a step back, right? And maybe say to themselves, is this the right thing for me? And as a seller of someone looking to sell a condo, that's 100% the thing you do not want. So what we're gonna do in today's video is recap how we got here. We're also gonna take a look at the Florida market in terms of condos. We're gonna take a deeper dive into our local area here because I have better data here from my local MLSs. Then we're also gonna take a look at the future and what that looks like for condo owners across the state of Florida. So let's do a quick recap of how we got here. Now, back in 2021, we had the Surfside collapse in South Florida where 98 people died because the condo fell and collapsed upon itself because of some foundation issues relating to the pool that was there and the water draining into the foundation and causing deterioration. This should have never happened, and this then forced legislation to make sure that this doesn't happen, or at least limit the opportunity for this to happen in the future for the state of Florida, which then caused a ripple effect of other massive problems for condo owners here, which we'll get into in just a second. After the Surfside collapse, two pieces of major legislation were pushed forward, which is SB 4D and SB 154, which essentially is saying, hey, we need to have milestone inspections for these condos, and we also need to have structural integrity reserve studies done to make sure that the reserves for these condo buildings can take care of the future maintenance that needs to be done for these buildings. Effective in July of 2022, condo buildings that are 3 stories or higher must have a milestone inspection once the building reaches 30 years of age and every 10 years after. If the building is within 3 miles of the coastline, that number drops to 20 years of age and then every 7 years after. Initial studies for existing buildings were due December 31st, 2024. These studies were to go over cost estimation and replacement of common elements and maintenance for the buildings for the next 30 years. Obviously, this is a huge problem for the condo owners here in the state of Florida. The condo prices are going down, HOA fees are going up, and their insurance is going up. So they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Not to mention that we have over 1.5 million condos here in the state of Florida, and over 600,000 of those condos are actually 40 years or older. So many of these condo associations were put into financial distress because of this legislation that was put in place, but also because of the work that needed to be done on these buildings in order to maintain them properly. So where does the market stand in 2025? There's obviously been some huge legislative changes here in the past. We also have a huge tragedy with the Surfside collapse. So what happens to condos and condo owners today in the market? Let's take a look. So if we take a look at the state of Florida in 2022, our active inventory was around 26,000 condo and townhomes on the market. Now, of course, this was the pandemic, so we did have a lower than usual availability of homes on the market. But if you take a look at today, we have roughly 126,000 condos and townhomes on the market. That is a ridiculous increase over these past couple of years, and that is really pushed by those condos and all the issues that we've seen with the condo crisis here in Florida. Then we take a look at median sale price. Now in 2022, our market was still accelerating pretty quickly. We were seeing prices go up, and in February of 2022, the median sale price for a condo or a townhome was $290,000 throughout the entire state of Florida. It went up to peak to around $325,000 a couple years later, and now that median sale price is back to 2022 levels at $290,000. So if you bought a condo over these last couple of years, you're probably not too happy. And if we take a look at closed sales in 2022, we had 8,400 closed sales across the state of Florida, and right now we're at 7,400. So down about 1,000 condos and townhomes since that time. So what I did, because the state of Florida is a massive place, every market is going to be a bit different, I wanted to bring it down and boil it down to our local area, which is the Jacksonville Metro Service Area, which includes St. Augustine and St. Johns County, but it also covers Nassau County, Baker County, Duval County, of course, and the surrounding areas. So as I said at the beginning of the video, we have HO fees up 43% since 2022. We have closed sales down 53% since 2021, and we also have active inventory growing by 2022, up 187%. We're actually 31% above what we were pre-pandemic, which is something that we definitely need to be concerned with. And one of the most interesting stats that I saw was months of supply, which essentially says, hey, if we stop putting homes on the market today, how many months would it take to run out of our current supply of condos or single family homes or whatever that housing type is, right? And we noticed something really, really different since 2024. We saw a decoupling of condos move away from single family and townhomes in a big, big way. Across all properties in the northeastern Florida area, we're at about a month's of supply of 4.8 months. So if we stop putting homes on the market, it's going to take us 4.8 months, 5 months to sell everything that we have currently on the market. If you take that and you put it on condos alone, the picture looks way different. Condos months of supply in northeastern Florida is 7.9 months. So it would take you an additional 3 months, 3.5 months to be able to sell the rest of the active inventory that's currently on the market with no additional listings coming on. Now, with all that negative news I just gave you, I would expect to see that median sale price would be down by 10%, 20%. It'd be a crash, right? But here in northeastern Florida, we haven't seen that. Prices are down, but they're only down 2.6%. So maybe this is the beginning of a larger trend, or maybe this is just a softening of the condo market while things start to work out through the rest of the state. At this point, it's pretty hard to tell. But so far, it seems that pricing is going down a little bit. It's holding pretty steady, but I also think that has a reflection on the northeastern Florida market because we don't have as many old condos as the rest of the state of Florida does. Because for the most part, northeastern Florida was a second thought or a third thought for many, many years when looking at the state of Florida. You always heard about Tampa, Orlando, Miami. You never really talked about Jacksonville unless you were talking about crime outside of the past 5 years. And as I mentioned before, the HOA cost has gone up 43% over these past couple of years, but that's also tied in with the insurance issues that we've had here in the state of Florida. So not only were condo owners getting hit with higher fees, but they were also getting hit with assessments because they had to fix some of the building and replace things immediately because of the legislation, but also they were getting hit on the other end with insurance, not only for their personal policy, but for the master policy for the entire condo building. Because over the past couple of years, if you don't know, we've had some big issues with insurance here in the state of Florida because we're one of the main places where we're filing claims across the entire United States because we get hit with natural disasters pretty often, such as hurricanes. And if you are looking for more information on insurance and hurricanes, I do have a video above you can check out where I outline kind of this whole issue, where I go into depth like I did today. But there is some good news on the horizon that could potentially make this a lot better of a situation for current condo owners and potential condo buyers. And as I mentioned before, some of these owners were hit with assessments because they needed to fully fund the reserve accounts in their condo building. So like, hey, you need to fully fund for the roof that you need in 30 years, right? That doesn't make good sense, right? In terms of owning a property. Do you own a house and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna save all the money I need right now for the roof I need in 20 or 30 years? No, that doesn't make good sense. Maybe you save a portion of it. What the legislation required was that they needed to fully fund their reserves. So condo owners were getting hit with thousands and thousands of dollars of assessments in order to fully fund this. So many associations fought back and said like, hey, this is impossible to do by 2025. It's just too short of a timeline for all of us to get on it and be able to fully fund these reserves. So legislation has helped out a little bit. One of the things that they did was they extended the timelines for the structural integrity reserve studies to be at the end of this year opposed to the end of 2024. Not a huge difference in time, but it does give people a little bit more breathing room to figure out where things are going and also for legislation to kind of play catch up a little bit. They also allowed flexible funding options. So before this legislation, it was essentially like, hey, homeowner, condo owner, you need to pay this bill. We're going to hit you with a $35,000 assessment so that we can do the maintenance of the building, put a new roof on, do whatever they got to do, right? Now they're saying, hey, condo associations can take out lines of credits and they can take out a loan in order to take care of those things, which takes a lot of the pressure off from that immediate situation. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know. But it does help right now, which is what we need. They also did targeted exemptions for smaller buildings and also updated what they would consider structural deterioration. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. It's probably a bad thing in the long run, But for these smaller buildings, they're trying to help them out a little bit, so they're cutting them some slack. So back in March of 2025 this year, there was a special assessment where they said, hey, maybe we do maintenance benchmarking for some of these funds instead of the pre-full funding of the reserve accounts, so that these associations can fund these accounts fully over a period of time instead of instantly today. And that's where, like, hey, you've seen some, and that's where you've probably seen some of these news stories where condo owners are getting hit with $35,000, $100,000 assessments because of the need to fully fund the reserves, which was pushed by legislation, which is not a great thing. And the whole goal of this was just to give owners some breathing room, a little bit of space so they can figure out some things, right? Also give lenders, anyone that's lending money to these condo associations, some better guidelines so that they understand what's going on. And this is all to stabilize the condo market, because the state of Florida recognized that, like, oh shit, we're in some trouble here. So if you are looking to buy a condo, I'm going to give you a couple of tips, and I do also have a condo cheat sheet for our area here so that you can take a look at it. It's an Excel file, you can go into it, you can dive deep and see which condo might be the right fit for you. Either way, a couple of things that I would do are ask for the latest milestone inspection or the structural integrity reserve study if they have it. They may not have it. They may wait till the end of this year. Look for funding plans. You know, if they don't have the reserves on paper, what are their plans to fund this for the future? Check the HOA budget trend and then compare that with the fees and just see, does this make good sense? Which in reality, most buyers do. Even though we got about 30% of our market paying cash right now, most buyers are still going to use financing. And the last thing you want to do is, like, compare your HOA fees across all of the condominiums that you're looking at, right? And see which one makes the most sense for you. Obviously, the HOA fee being higher is going to raise your monthly cost, but what do you get for that? Right? What's the benefit of it being higher? Is it actually an HOA that takes care of their shit and they know that your building is going to be taken care of over these next couple of years? Is it lower and they're not taking care of anything, right? Factor this into your decision. And of course, I can help with that. And if you're selling a condo, the best thing that you can do is be transparent and put yourself in the shoes of anyone looking to buy your condo, right? You've watched this video, you've seen all the problems. There are a lot of questions coming around it, right? So be upfront about the inspections, about the studies and all that kind of stuff. Give that to them. Say, here you go. It's yours. Then you also want to price realistically based on your HOA and the fees that are associated with living in your condo. You got to face it. Affordability is a huge concern in today's national housing market, right? People are looking at that monthly payment and they're comparing it to this monthly payment over here and this monthly payment over there. That's what's going to win out versus, okay, hey, I'm going to price it here because the market's here. You could be following the ball downhill. You don't want to chase it downhill. You want to get in front of that ball. Then you could also showcase updates and safety improvements that your condo has put forth so that you can present it to a buyer in your marketing. Of course, I can help you with that if you're looking to do that in our area. So what is the outlook for condos here in the state of Florida? Now, I don't have a magic ball, but if I were to guess, they're going to figure this out because the state of Florida literally cannot afford to not figure this out. So I imagine we're just going through a rough patch right now and that all in all, it will be good in the next 5 years or so. But is that something you're willing to deal with? I do expect a more balanced condo market over these next couple of years because we had a reaction in legislation that led to the issues that we're having today, and then we had more legislation which should hopefully smooth the seas and make it easier for all sailors. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, more than likely these safe and well-funded buildings are going to come back first, right? And also the newer buildings because they won't have to worry about it for 20 or 30 years, right? So those are probably areas to take a look at and put your money. All in all, for the condo market in the state of Florida, though there has been a lot of issues and a lot of stress and people putting videos out about crises like myself, I do think it is a good thing for all condo owners in the state of Florida moving forward. When I first put out the video several months ago about the condo crisis here in the state of Florida, I was shocked, and it made me sit back and think, like, how did they not have like a structural integrity inspection before? Like, how is that not a thing here in the state of Florida? But it wasn't, right? And this legislation in reality is a good thing. We did a little bit of an overreaction in legislation that led to a positive reaction to where we are today. Hopefully we see more of that happening. So if you're a condo owner that lives here in Northeastern Florida and you are looking to sell, reach out to me directly. We can have a private conversation completely free for you. If you are looking to buy a condo here, whether as an investment or as a place to lay your head at night, reach out to me directly. Me and my team would love to help. All we try to do is give you the information so that you can make an educated decision on what you want to do, which is buy, sell, or invest here in Northeastern Florida. Until next time, guys.